Welcome to Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. This is the place to come for news you can use to get things done. Everybody knows that too much stuff is clutter, and cleaning it makes you neater and tidier. To us, it is a life management tool that helps you navigate your next steps. This is what my book, Lighten Up, Free Yourself from Clutter, is all about. As baby boomers, we have a lot in front of us that is confounding and confronting, so we sweep things under the carpet and put them off another day or forever. That is clutter because it keeps us stuck, and my new book addresses all of that. So we're going to bring experts, authors, and authorities here to talk with us about health, relationships, technology, finance, housing. What are you going to do next in life? Passing down your life stories, and even the challenges of making final arrangements. Here we aim to learn, open new possibilities, choose, take action, and create a legacy, not a mess. So let's get started. Who doesn't have a headache when it comes to managing all their photos? Not only are hard copies of photos from pre-digital days piled up in bags and boxes in our attics and basements or closets, but smartphone galleries fill up quicker than we can say cheese. How do we manage to make sense of it all? To help us sort that out, we've invited Tavener McKelley as our guest today. Tavener is one of a growing number of professionals from around the U.S. and the world called photo managers. About 15 years ago, Tavener took a turn away from a successful corporate career to become an entrepreneur and owner of Memory Lane Designs. It is here that she helps clients who are overwhelmed by all their photos make sense of them all so they can enjoy and share those special moments in their life stories. Tavener is here today to inspire, encourage, and educate us so that we can clean up the mess of photos that we have. Welcome, Tavener.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you. Now, help us out of this mess. More precisely, first of all, tell us what a photo manager is. That is a career I don't think existed not too far back.
Well, it is a career that came to be about 10 years ago, and it's called the Photo Managers, and they are a group of growing group of people who are focused on helping people preserve their photos. It's estimated that we take about 2 trillion photos a year in the world. And with cameras being on our phones these days, people are just accumulating photos left and right. And people have stressed out. Every single client that has called me has used words like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm paralyzed, I don't know where to start. It's too big of a chore. So the photo managers are a group that keeps up with the technology. I believe that's key because technology changes so fast, and privacy issues have become a big thing lately. So a photo manager stays on top of all that technology and allows the people to just either turn everything over to the photo manager and say, here are 10 boxes of photos that I've accumulated over my lifetime. Help me do something with them. Or a photo manager could coach somebody through doing it themselves.
Well, that's what we're going to focus on today. For those of us who, are sticking to that do-it-yourself mentality, you can't leave photos in boxes and bags anymore because there's few of us who have any printed photos anymore. So, what do you take us? Where do you even begin to try to bring some order to the chaos of photos?
Absolutely. Well, let me first start by saying the boxes of photos that you have in your garage or your closet or your basement or your attic, if they're in that box, they're not safe. That's just the fact of life. Cardboard has a tendency to degrade the photos. So over time, they're going to fade. There's always the risk of natural disasters, hurricanes, fire, flooding, and in Tennessee, tornadoes were a big issue, and that's a big concern. So don't feel that they're safe just because they're in a cardboard box in a closet. You need to have a few different ways of preserving those photos. And the first thing to do would be to figure out why you want to do anything. Do you want to preserve them all? Do you want to, what's motivating you to do something about it now? A lot of times my clients will have an event, like an anniversary, and that will inspire them to go do something with all these photos because they want to find the ones that are related to the anniversary. So I would say the first step is to kind of figure out your goal and the reason why you want to do something, and allow that to motivate you from start to the finish. You're not going to get everything done in one day. It may take a year. It may take a month. It may take 2 months. Who knows? Depending on the state of your photos. But keep that goal in mind and keep at it, keep at it. And if you get completely overwhelmed, just know that there is a life-saving resource out there that can do everything for you if you need that. But really, it's not that hard to do. It is time-consuming, and that's the main thing. It's kind of like doing your taxes. You can do them yourself. Everybody can do them. Or you can just say, here, I'm not good with numbers. You do everything. So that's kind of what we do.
So people have both the physical photos that they may have from their parents or their grandparents or their early childhood. What do you do with the physical photos? Is that where you would start on your physical photos and then move to your online galleries?
Exactly. I would gather every printed photo that I have and put it in one spot. And that includes photo albums, pictures on the wall that are framed, everything that's printed. Organize all of those printed photos according to a timeline. And what I do is literally put a timeline on the table with tape and separate it by year. And so the printed photos go in piles according to the year. If you don't know the exact year, you can go by decade, and you can accomplish the same thing. Or start with year, and then you might split the decade into years as you get more photos and you figure out.
Start with mini lumps and then mini lumps and sub lumps. Okay.
Right. And I use so many different tricks and tips to figure out when was this. You'll kind of get into a flow and you'll see a Disneyland picture and you'll say, okay, the kids were young in this Disneyland picture. I'm going to put that there. Then later on, you might see a Disneyland picture that's got writing on the back, says 1972. So all of a sudden, now you know where the stack of pictures go. Then you can even look at outfits. And if the little boy
those bell bottoms had to be from what, the late 60s.
Exactly. There are so many really good tips.
And that beehive haircut, where did I get that from?
Tall hair, big hair, 80s hair. But sometimes you'll even find that the year is on the picture itself. They used to do that back in the day.
And so once you do that, what happens?
You've got your piles. Then as you're looking through the pictures, you want to keep in mind A, B, C. A for, yes, I definitely want to keep this one. Put it in an album. B, you're not so sure, you may want to keep it. Don't throw it away yet. Or C, can throw it away. So it's the first step in filtering out all of the photos. If you run across duplicates, toss them.
Okay.
So when you finish with all that, you've got a stack that you can throw away and you're already feeling a little bit better because you've narrowed it down. You also can safely, I say, throw away pictures of sceneries. The beach, you keep one. I mean, a beach is a beach. If it's got people in it, you want to keep it, of course. But a lot of times people will travel and they'll take pictures of a waterfall.
Yeah, you get caught up in the moment. Yeah.
You do, right. I know, I do too. So kind of keep that in mind too. You might want to just keep one, but you don't need 10 pictures of the waterfall. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you're sorting. So now you've got your stacks of pictures according to the date and the year. And then you want to scan all of those photos. So you've got lots of options. You can send it out to a professional scanner. That's not one that personally I recommend. I get too nervous about doing that, sending it out. And if something, you never know these days. The FedEx truck could turn over and all your pictures get lost, even if you have a tracking number. So I like to keep it local. I offer that service, or I recommend different types of scanners if clients call me and say, what do I need to know about scanning? I would say the most important thing is to set your scanner on either 300 DPI or 600 DPI when you're scanning. And DPI stands for dots per inch. And it's the number of pixels that are within 1 inch of a photo. And the reason that you want to, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you need to buy a scanner separate from a copy machine, or is your copier going to have a scanner? What's the best way to approach the scanning process if you're doing it on your own?
It depends on how many photos you have, but if you use the home machine, it's time consuming, of course, because you have to lay them all out, open it, close it, open it, close it. Or you could buy a professional machine that feeds in automatically. And
how much do those cost?
I think mine was about $500 for the professional feed scanner, and up to starting at $1,000 for a real good flatbed.
Okay, so it's an investment. So one of the things, you could buy your own scanner. You can,
I'm sorry. You can also go to a library and do it there. And our library, I just discovered last year, I think it was because of your seminar there, they offer free service. So if you don't have 10,000 pictures, it might be worth looking into.
The library in the area where I live has an entire floor dedicated to being able to transfer photos and audio tapes and videotapes. Not every community will have that. I think they got some kind of a donation. Foundation contributed to the launch of that kind of a room. Not every library will have that, but you may even have, if you don't have, send away your photos to a service that will scan them all for you. There are some local businesses that are designed especially to do that. So once you've scanned all your photos and now you're in the world of, you're into the digital realm, you can add the photos that are from your past and with the ones in the future. And what do you do? Now you're faced with digital clutter. How do you approach that?
So one important thing to remember as you're doing the scanning step is to make sure you capture the date, if you know it, in the scanning, the title of the photo. And that can be a little complicated, but if you hire somebody to do that for you, they should include the date as the file name. That way, when you load it onto your computer, into your digital hub, we call it, everything is sorted by year, date, or event.
So the labeling of the photos is important. You want to try to put, probably, what else do you put in the label? Who's in the picture? How many times have you said, I don't know if that was a relative, a neighbor, a friend? Exactly. Who was that anyway?
I follow the naming guide: year with 4 digits, month, day, and then I do a hyphen, and then I can add event if it was trip to Disneyland or Caleb's birthday, or whatever the event is, or a wedding, or
so keep it short. Label as you put all the digital folders. Where do you keep all of the photographs that you finally digitize everything? Is there a particular app that you use to store all your photos? Does it come with the phone? Where do you house all these photos?
If you're a PC user, you can organize it in your files, just the file system that PCs come with. Or if you're a Mac person, it will go into your iPhotos. So either way, it kind of, if you follow the steps of naming it, by year before you put it in your computer, then it will go in there and it'll magically just all be according to the year that you put in.
Do you want to create folders to then okay, you can certainly search them because you have the date and the identification of the photos in that way, but do you still want to move in the direction of creating files or folders? Do you do that?
Mac kind of discourages that. They don't have a folder system, so you'd have to build that all yourself.
Okay.
And some people like to have that. I don't. If you really learn how to use Mac according to what it's designed for, you can easily sort it by year or face or person or event using search terms. So you don't necessarily need folders in Mac. And in PC, I would put them by year. I would have a folder for each year.
Are there specific apps outside of those that come with your phone that are a good place to build your photo library, so to speak?
That's a good question too. Always keep your photos in 3 different places. One on the cloud, and that would answer your question. There's Google Photos, there's SmugMug, there's Apple Photos, of course. So you can pick a cloud service and have every photo that you take with your phone automatically uploads to that cloud.
And that's cloud, just to specify for those of us who are really trying to do our best with technology, the cloud is a place where things are stored regardless of the device that you're using. If anything happens to the device you're using, is a safe place out, who knows, in the middle of the oceans of the world, where it's safely stored no matter what happens to the device. Is that correct? Is that a good way to describe it?
A good example is that I had a client that went hiking. She was taking pictures all along the way. Every single picture that she took automatically went to the cloud. She lost the phone during her hiking trip, and all those pictures on her phone were gone, but they were all in the cloud. So
you're storing your photos not only on your device, but now you've got the cloud. And you said there were 3 places. Where's the third?
3 places. One, if you keep your printed copies, keep those in a very safe place. And I would strongly recommend putting them in archival boxes. It's a little bit more expensive, but they won't degrade because of the chemicals and time and air. So that's one. The second is to have a hard drive big enough to keep every photo on. And then the third is the cloud.
Okay, so you've got the cloud, you've got an external drive, and you've got an archival box that you're still keeping those photos in. Then what do you do? Now you've stored all your photos, and what do you do next?
Okay, so then you put them all in the hub. You then go gather all your digital devices. Now you've done the printed. So now you've got your USB drives. If you're my age, you've got CDs that you stored them on, thumb drives. So put all of those gadgets into one spot and then put them in the same hub. And then you can use duplicate software to find the duplicates in your digital photos. And if you missed any when you were doing your printed, they'll catch them here. So there's software you can buy for your Mac and software you can buy for your PC.
Okay, so Tavener, we've got all the printed photos scanned. We've got the scanned into the cloud, a backup drive, archival boxes. Are we going to move in the direction of making albums, physical albums that we can multiply and share with many family members, or we're going to keep them on the computer and give somebody access to all of our user codes and passwords so that they can get it if anything happens to us, or all of the above?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay.
Every single person has a different desire of what they want to do. Some people want to frame them, put them on the wall, their favorites. Many people want to make photo books from them. And we're not talking about albums that you put into plastic. We're talking about beautiful digital albums. And that's actually my specialty. So you can hire somebody again, or you can go online and you can actually do that yourself through a software program.
My what I elect for the folks out there is to have it in both places, to keep it on the your cloud and your backup and your archival boxes, but albums, like how many times if you're sitting over the dinner table and you have a guest over and you want to show them something of your grandkids or your kids, and you're not going to go to your computer, you're going to pull out a book. So move in the direction of photo books. If you're not going to do it yourself, maybe you do part of it yourself, you hire somebody who's part of going to help you with the rest of it, you get a family member to help you, but the important part is to tell your story. So put it in your schedule and get it done. So that's all we have time for today. We could talk for hours, I'm sure, and we'll have to have you back, Tavener. Tavener, again, is a photo manager and owner of Memory Lane Designs, sharing our knowledge and wisdom about the best ways to preserve and keep your memories so that you don't have them sitting around like clutter in your basements and attics and garages, but in your memories. So check out her website at www.memorylanedesigns.com. You can also check out the photomanagers.com website for people who may be in your neighborhood, but whether or not you do it on your own or with a professional, just do it, as they say in some neck of the woods. So take the time to declutter your photos, organize them, and share them with others. I want to again thank you for coming today, Tavener, and for all of you folks out there, just do it.
Just do it.
Well, that's all we have time for today. So let's wrap things up with a request that you go to our website, www.decluttering55plus.com, and click on the Let's Connect button. Share your thoughts, insights, and tell us the lessons you've learned. If you're facing challenges or celebrating triumphs on your decluttering journey, we want to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know you're part of our community by rating and reviewing us from wherever you're listening from today. And don't forget, invite your friends and family, young and old, to tune in too. Let's include them in the conversation. The more, the merrier. Thanks for being with us today. And until next time, this is Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Bassoff, wishing you a clutter-free day.